Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today we have another band you need to hear recommendation. Another band, if you're not familiar with these guys, seriously need to check them out because you're missing out on some damn fine stuff. And following from the last few episodes in the run up to Incineration Fest 2023, another band that I have selected from that exquisite lineup to recommend to you. Unfortunately, I think the chance of me actually seeing this band on the day is quite minimal, given the strength of the lineup on the Electric Ballroom stage, the largest of the venues, when we have Rotting Christ, Asphyx, Marduk, and Enslaved pretty much back to back. So that's going to take some serious beating. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a winner. However, at the Underworld stage, quite high up the bill, we have one of the true kind of extreme underground legends. A seriously unique band. A band that combines black and death metal pretty seamlessly to have created some of the most blasphemous and evil, heretical music just ever. I'm talking about the mighty Profanatica, hailing from New York in the US of A, in fact. These guys have been around technically in one form or another since the early 90s, since about 1990. I believe that they had a few sort of demos and some rehearsal stuff around, some live recordings, but then broke up around 1992, but were then reformed in about 2000, 2001. Since then, they have released a pretty good chunk of material, in fact, really sizable catalogue. They've got lots of, not just albums, they've got EPs and bits and pieces, compilations thrown in there as well. A really quite busy band, but a really genuinely great act. Fronted and kind of spearheaded, if you like, by Paul Headley, an ex-member of Incantation, another band from New York, a legendary death metal act. These guys are absolutely blasphemous and evil. This is some of the most evil sounding, nastiest, grittiest, just bleakest black metal around. I would say there is definitely a strong death metal influence there. There's also quite a notable doom tone as well throughout some of these songs, some of these albums, some more than others. We'll take you through their rather excellent catalogue. I've got here a cassette copy of the debut album. I think this was from 2007. This is entitled, do bear with me, Profanatitas de Demonatia. Apologies if that is absolutely butchered, but we have some pretty awesome artwork there. If that artwork doesn't tell you just what you're in for, I mean, there's no escaping the fact that's just going to be evil, heretical stuff. That is evil. It looks like a depiction of hell, Dante's hell. But a great album, actually. Quite a strong debut effort there. We've got some really evil material, and I mean, this is, like I say, this is really blasphemous stuff. But there are some great tracks here. Master of Man Obsolete, Unto Us He Is Born, Mocked, Scourged, and Spit Upon. You get the feeling, don't you? But these are good tracks. This is one of these sort of releases where you put it on and it just kind of flows through quite nicely. There's not a massive distinction between the tracks and materials. There's no ballad track. There's no 20-minute sprawling epic or anything like that. It's just pretty short, pretty punchy, evil sounding black metal, really. This is a recent Hell's Headbangers, I believe, reissue on tape, and it includes some live performances from 1991 and 1992 as well, which is really cool. So yeah, a strong starting point for this band at the beginning there, 2007. They then went on to release this rather delightful album. This is from, I believe it's 2010 in fact. Disgusting Blasphemies Against God. Again, that cover tells you absolutely everything that you need to know. And this rather lovely digipack reissue contains a second disc, which features live material from 1992. Really evil stuff. I mean, this is nasty. This is nasty material. And we've got John Gelso there, who did guitars, and then we've got Paul Hedney, who did the vocals, and is kind of the main man in the band, if you like. Really good stuff. Opening track there, Black Cum. Disgusting name. Pious piece of shit. You get the idea. Okay, you know where they're coming from, but really good tracks. This is quite. There's a almost like a punk kind of aggression in there as well. It's raw. It's loose. It's got plenty of evil and attitude to it. Smashing religious fucking statues, covered in black shit. Crush all that is holy defile. Yeah, it's just great stuff. And actually the live material is quite interesting as well. It's not the sort of stuff that you necessarily want to listen to every time you hear the album, but this is a strong Profanatica album for their second effort there. And what I do have here, this is certainly a one of a kind in my collection. This is a compilation of material that came out. I believe this compilation came out between Disgusting Blasphemies and the next album. This combines the Sickened by the Holy Host EP, I believe, and then we've got the Grand Masters sessions as well, and that was effectively, I believe, it's some sort of like live material or rehearsal stuff, but it all sounds really good. It all sounds really good, and I absolutely love this package. It's a huge thing, really cool, and we've got the CD is actually in a little wallet here, a little envelope rather. Really cool. The material from the Sickened by Holy Host, which is a really interesting compilation, but that material is really solid. There is no denying that, and that's where we get a lot of this kind of doom influence coming from, with tracks like Holy Trinity Done and God Bless Them, I believe. The second version, because what we actually get is tracks 1 to 7. We've got the original material of the Sickened by Holy Host, and then we've got the tracks 8 to 13 with the inclusion of an intro, which is with basically the same tracks again, but with a different lineup, or the addition of another member, I believe. It's quite a confusing thing, but actually it's really good, and the sort of the reworked material there, hopefully that'll make a little bit more sense, is actually a lot stronger. We've got some really good doomy vibes in places, as I say. We've got some really deadly death metal parts. It's freaking heavy. And the Grandmaster session material, we've got a great medley of early material from the first couple of albums. Yeah, just brilliant stuff. Really nasty, blackened death metal, deathened black metal, whatever you want to call it. Really good stuff, really nasty thing, and I love this particular thing because it almost looks like a 7-inch single size, but it's not. It is in fact a compilation of some great evil sounding stuff, and I've been listening to these albums a lot in the last sort of week or so to really get myself familiar and up to speed, of course, prior to doing this review. And this one album in particular is called Thy Kingdom Come. Is quite a standout, actually. This is a really good album. This is one of those sorts of albums. I've got it on tape here, nice gold tape. You put this album on and it just kind of flows through. It doesn't require necessarily a whole lot of attention. It submerges you into this murky, dismal, dirgy black metal abyss. Tracks like Foul the Air with Blasphemy, Denounce Him, brilliant track actually, Definite Atonement, Thy Kingdom Come, Ropes of Hatred, and Water to Blood. Really good, and I love that little artwork there. Really cool. Evil just gives you an idea clearly what the hell you're going to be listening to, because this is just evil, nasty, satanic, diabolical goodness. A good album, Thy Kingdom Come, follows on. Then we have what is probably my favourite of all of the Profanatica albums, This one is a very accomplished piece. This is The Curling Flame of Blasphemy. I can't quite recall the year off the top of my head, but this is a really solid album. This probably showcases the most diverse and dynamic and also musically capable material that Profanatica have released. No disrespect or discredit to those previous albums and EPs, but this is really strong. This is really solid stuff. We get some really heavy material. There's a strong leaning of the death metal influence here, not just raw black metal, and it really does stand out. Certainly the incorporation of really doomy parts, like Triptychon level crushing death doom parts, certainly present in tracks like Magic and Myrrh, and the closing doomy masterpiece Curling Flame. But the opening track, Ordained in Bile, absolutely stunning. Heavy as hell. It's got that strong death metal influence, but it's just nasty stuff. Vocal work is really strong from Paul there. We've got Paul and John Gelso again. Interesting get-ups there. Very interesting costumes. Good stuff. Very entertaining. Then we've got tracks like March to Golgotha, heavy as hell. Host Over Cup, which is a pretty... Again, it's got that sort of punky spirit, but it's deadly, it's nasty and black. Bleed Heavenly Kingdom, Vile Blessing, brilliant stuff. This is just really solid album. If you've never heard Profanatica, I would probably say check this album out. If you're only going to check out one, this album is something you absolutely need to hear. Curling Flame of Blasphemy, absolutely glorious. I don't have a copy of their most recent album, unfortunately. It's on my list to acquire, but I do have a copy of their EP. This is entitled Altar of the Virgin Whore. So this is only 18, 19 minutes long, something like that. Really good. Again, this is far more leaning towards the sort of material that we got on like Disgusting Blasphemies Against God or Thy Kingdom Come. This is far more of a black metal release as opposed to Curling Flame of Blasphemy, which was definitely more in tune with the kind of black and death and the doom incorporations there. But this, Altar of the Virgin Whore, heavy, good stuff, really bleak black metal. Conceived with Sin, great track. Prayer in Eclipse, Crucifixion Wounds, bleak as. Thorn King, of course, fuck the Messiah, because that is what Profanatica are all about, that heretical, evil, blasphemous black metal. Brilliant stuff. So that is the catalogue, the collection, if you like, that I have of Profanatica. And as I say, they have got another album, they've got plenty of other EPs and bits and pieces that they've released, but this is a really strong band. As I say, black metal, but with a bit of a twist. This is miles apart from the kind of Scandinavian or European death metal sound, or any other international death metal sound, to be honest, because American black metal, certainly with Profanatica and what they're doing, it sounds very unique. It sounds very different. I suppose the association with other sort of death metal projects, there is definitely that prominence there, but this is not that kind of frosty, chilly black metal that we would expect early in the years of bands like Emperor or Dark Throne or Dimmu miles apart. There's certainly no synths, no keyboards, anything like that here. It's just good old-fashioned evil metal. Profanatica, a band you seriously need to hear. If you're not familiar with these guys, check them out. And if you can, do check them out at the Incineration Fest in May in Camden, because they are a killer band. And I am rather gutted, to be honest. I'm probably not going to get a chance to see them, but I guess you do have to weigh it up. You've got to prioritise. There's inevitably going to be clashes, which is always a shame, but an inevitability. So Profanatica, are you a fan? Are you a fan of this great band? I'd be very interested to hear the thoughts and opinions of other fans and others out there. Of course, if you haven't checked them out, do. They are a great band. I particularly recommend checking out Thy Kingdom Come, which is a really solid, nasty album, and as previously mentioned, The Curling Flame of Blasphemy, which is good evil stuff. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Do feel free to like and subscribe as always, and of course if you haven't heard the band, check them out and let me know what you think. Very interested to hear. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. And as always, take care, my friends, and stay heavy.